Imagine a world where one battle, one crucial moment, altered the course of history forever. What if Napoleon Bonaparte had triumphed at Waterloo? Would Europe have been reshaped into a vast empire under his rule? Or would his victory have only delayed the inevitable? In this video, we unravel an alternative timeline where the French emperor emerges victorious, and history takes a dramatically different turn. The Battle of Waterloo, fought on June 18, 1815, marked the end of Napoleon's reign and his ambitions for European dominance. Facing the combined forces of Britain, Prussia, and their allies, Napoleon suffered a crushing defeat, leading to his exile on St. Helena. But what if the battle had played out differently? What if a few key moments had swung in his favor? How would Europe and the world have changed under a victorious Napoleon? Napoleon's defeat can be attributed to several factors: the late arrival of his reinforcements, strategic mistakes, and the resilience of the British and Prussian troops. However, had Marshal Grouchy intercepted the Prussians before they joined the battle, or had the Imperial Guard broken Wellington's center, the outcome could have been drastically different. The smallest change on the battlefield could have led to an entirely new European order. In this alternate reality, Napoleon's forces outmaneuver the Prussians, cutting off their reinforcements. Meanwhile, his Imperial Guard successfully smashes through Wellington's defensive lines, forcing the British forces into a full retreat. The battlefield, once chaotic, now belongs to the French emperor. The news of the victory spreads rapidly, and Napoleon wastes no time capitalizing on his triumph. With his victory at Waterloo, Napoleon marches triumphantly into Brussels, consolidating his control over Belgium. This unexpected success sends shockwaves across Europe. Britain, reeling from its defeat, is forced to reassess its involvement in continental affairs. The British public, fatigued by war, starts questioning their government's commitment to continued military interventions. The Congress of Vienna, which had sought to restore the old monarchies of Europe, is thrown into disarray. With Napoleon still in power, his influence spreads across the continent. Many of the treaties signed in Vienna now hold little weight, as Napoleon dictates a new European order. The balance of power is thrown into chaos, and rulers across the continent scramble to either align with or oppose the resurgent French emperor. Rather than being exiled, Napoleon uses his renewed strength to negotiate peace with hesitant European powers. Weakened by years of war, Austria and Russia are reluctant to challenge him again. Instead of war, a period of uneasy diplomacy emerges. Napoleon, understanding the importance of maintaining his grip on power, strategically allies with select European nations, ensuring their loyalty through political maneuvering and promises of stability. Napoleon, ever the strategist, turns his attention to stabilizing France internally. He implements reforms, modernizing the French economy and military. His Napoleonic code spreads even further, shaping laws across Europe. He encourages industrial development, positioning France at the forefront of technological advancements and reinforcing its dominance as the most formidable power on the continent. But can one victory truly cement his empire? The British, though temporarily subdued, are far from defeated. With their vast navy and colonial wealth, they prepare for a prolonged struggle against Napoleon's France. In London, policymakers debate whether they should launch another military campaign or focus on economic warfare to undermine Napoleon's influence. Across the Atlantic, the United States watches the developments in Europe with intrigue. Would Napoleon's continued rule encourage America to align with Britain, or could a Franco-American alliance shift the balance of global power? If Napoleon had succeeded in maintaining his empire, would the United States have been drawn into European conflicts earlier than in our timeline? The ripple effects extend to South America, where revolutionary movements are gaining momentum. Would Napoleon's survival embolden these movements or suppress them under his empire? Leaders of independence movements, such as Simón Bolívar, carefully analyzed Napoleon's policies, trying to determine whether they should seek his support or resist his expanding influence. In the East, the Ottoman Empire remains wary of Napoleon's ambitions. His Egyptian campaign had once threatened their rule. Now, with renewed power, does he turn his gaze towards the Middle East? Could a revived French campaign in Egypt and Syria reshape the balance of power in the region, altering the course of the Ottoman Empire's decline? As Napoleon strengthens his hold over Europe, New conflicts arise. Nationalist movements inspired by his revolutionary ideas challenge monarchies across the continent. Would these uprisings lead to a more democratic Europe or further consolidate Napoleon's grip? If he embraced nationalism, could he transform his empire into a collection of semi-autonomous states loyal to the Napoleonic dynasty? The Industrial Revolution looms on the horizon. With Napoleon's policies in place, does France emerge as the dominant economic power? Could a Franco-centric Europe accelerate technological advancements? What if Napoleon had prioritized steam power, railroads, and mechanized warfare, changing the course of the industrial age? But even the greatest leaders cannot rule forever. How would history remember Napoleon if he had triumphed? Would he be seen as a liberator, bringing progress to Europe, or a dictator whose insatiable ambition reshaped the world? His legacy, already a subject of debate in our timeline, becomes even more complex in this alternate reality. Eventually, Napoleon's reign comes to an end, whether by age, assassination, or another war. Who succeeds him? Does his empire fracture, or does the Napoleonic dynasty endure? If he had been able to establish a stable system of succession, could France have remained the dominant force in Europe for generations? The implications of this alternate reality are vast. Europe, instead of being shaped by the balance of power established after 1815, becomes a continent under Napoleonic influence. Democracy and monarchy clash in unforeseen ways. Would Napoleon's continued reign have accelerated or delayed the emergence of modern democratic ideals? In the modern era, how would our world look if Napoleon's victory at Waterloo had created a lasting European empire? Would we still see the rise of British global dominance? Would World War I have ever happened? How would the 20th century unfold in a world where France, rather than Britain or Germany, dictated the course of global events? Now it's your turn to decide. Was Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo a blessing in disguise for Europe? Or did the world miss out on a grand vision that could have changed everything? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the world would have been better or worse under prolonged Napoleonic rule? If you enjoyed this deep dive into alternate history, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and hit the notification bell for more intriguing scenarios. Until next time, keep questioning history, because one change can reshape everything.